Without any prior shelling, the massive plant was directly hit, and we immediately dove into the deep trenches with all the guys.
That was truly delicious and very tasty, Rosca.
Now there will be some significant disruptions, and they might even cut it completely out.
Either it's an oil depot or something else. Look, it's burning over there.
Right now, there's a catastrophe in Russia. Drones have destroyed the occupiers' lair deep behind enemy lines. A critically important military facility completely wrecked. Video of an explosion at the oil refinery. A direct hit on the target. A sea drone attack right on Putin's port. This is a real breakthrough. The railway is burning. Daily fiery greetings from the armed forces of Ukraine. The Kremlin's Black Day has stretched into weeks. All this and more coming up, so watch until the end. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Dirina Hutsakalo, and here are the latest events. Hell has come to the Krasnodar region. The Russians' hysteria has reached its peak. Air raid alerts didn't help. Explosions hit loudly and precisely.
Slavyansk on Kuban in the Krasnodar region was attacked by drones.
It was barely a few minutes after the strike when Russians leaked online which critically important Russian facility was destroyed. It was a military base.
Military Unit Number 48268, the artillery brigade named after the Tallinn Red Banner Order of Suvorov. According to reports, the base is equipped with cannons, self-propelled artillery, and other elements of standard combat infrastructure.
Epic footage instantly spread across social networks. The fire was of truly unprecedented scale. The entire arsenal of Russian weapons simply went up in the air. However, as they say, misfortune never comes alone. The mayor of Novorossiysk had already warned the city's residents about the threat of an attack by maritime drones. And it's no wonder, the place is more of a lure for drones than anything else. The Novorossiysk fuel oil terminal and the Transneft terminal.
Several explosions were heard in Novorossiysk. Earlier, the air defense system was working against enemy drones and unmanned boats.
And such unmanned boats headed straight for the port. The Russians filmed everything on camera. You can't miss this. Unknown drones also visited the Afipsky oil refinery in Kuban this morning.
A drone flew right into the plant. We carefully dove all the way down to the very bottom of the ocean with the fishing nets.
This is already about the fourth attack on the Afipsky oil refinery. They're heating up. A powerful explosion rang out around 7 in the morning. After that, witnesses saw a column of black smoke near one of the local enterprises.
The Russians came to work, but what a mess. There's nothing left of the oil refinery anymore. Can you hear that?
Honey, where am I supposed to work now?
Looks like the guys will have to look for new jobs. The plant is fading into oblivion.
It looks like the primary oil processing unit is on fire. This means the plant has been taken out of operation for a long time.
There was also a drone attack and a fiery light show in the Volgograd region.
Look, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Again, over there, toward the elevator. Now it's going to get even more intense.
Hello there, yes, there it is, there it is, there it is.
In the Volgograd region, they are repelling a drone attack. Local residents hear explosions in the sky. According to them, air defense systems are operating. There was a flash in the city itself.
And where did that thing go? It flew away. Look, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. It flew away.
The Russians are literally cursing the railway now. It's like a magnet, attracting strikes from unknown drones.
2 buildings. They hit the pilot. They hit the pilot.
The regional governor, Andrei Bokarov, eventually confirmed that the strike hit 2 railway stations at once.
At the Surovikino railway station, a fire broke out in the administrative building, which is being promptly dealt with by the fire services. At the Maxim Gorky railway station, work is currently underway to clear the remains of the downed UAV. There is no damage to the facilities.
The Ukrainian side has revealed details about why this railway junction is so important for the occupiers.
Surovikino itself is located at the intersection of important railway routes. Volgograd is located further away. This is the main line for transferring equipment and personnel toward the occupied Donbas, the Azov coast and Crimea. The railway passes through Likaya and Milerovo and then branches out toward Luhansk, the ports of Taganrog and Mariupol.
The occupiers, however, keep pretending that everything is under control. The governor even assured that train traffic is running without any disruptions. But the local residents themselves are alarmed. The tracks are damaged. An actual disaster could happen at any moment.
There will be disruptions soon. They could derail. There will be disruptions for a while.
However, this is not surprising. 10 explosions hit the region simultaneously. Airports are being closed urgently. The Russians have found themselves in complete isolation.
A carpet plan has been implemented at the airport. The airspace is temporarily closed.
The Russian Defense Ministry stated that overnight air defense forces allegedly destroyed and intercepted 82 Ukrainian UAVs. However, Russians are not used to the clouds and storms in the sky. The day before, drones were liquidated at the motor depot in Bryansk.
Yo. Close it.
Either an oil depot or something else. There you can see where the smoke is rising.
By the way, in December 2024, UAVs from the AFU and the GUR had already struck this motor depot. At that time, it was reported that there was a hit followed by a fire. In the Rostov region, drones have once again attacked the Tatsinskaya railway station. The Russians were really shaken.
A fire broke out. Residents report that there are freight tank cars on the railway.
Yes.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
If the Russians can't handle what's happening on their own territory, then what can we say about the temporarily occupied lands of Ukraine? There is a water crisis in Donbas. Putin has brought the situation to a critical point. The occupation authorities, as always, blame Kyiv for everything. What do we know about this, and what does life under the so-called Russian world really look like without any embellishment? We'll tell and show you right now.
Yes, no. It's raining outside. Life is really bitter. We're collecting water.
Residents of the temporarily occupied part of Donetsk region are reporting a humanitarian and environmental catastrophe due to the region's water supply. Even global media outlets are writing about this.
What about the people? They've been driven to the point where they're scooping water straight from the asphalt, from a manhole that was broken open. Why did they have to push people to this point? It's a nightmare.
In the summer of 25, water rarely comes out of the taps, and it almost never reaches the upper floors of high-rise buildings. They only turn it on for a few hours once every 3 days. In Donetsk itself, and in a number of other cities, it's once every 2 days.
There is indeed water, but there is certainly no water present.
The tank is emptied by the 3rd day. There was no water on Saturday, or on Sunday or Monday. There's no water.
In Donetsk, people greet water delivery trucks like a holiday.
Today is a joyful day for us because they brought us water. Thankful.
People hurry to the tanks with canisters and buckets. This is most often the only way to stock up on water for drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. The situation in occupied Mariupol and Berdyansk is no better.
29th of 7th, another water supply, 5th floor. The time is 1845. Well, I don't know if this effort will be enough for me or not.
Putin's water trucks from Moscow that arrived in the region are just a drop in the ocean.
So you have to find ways to manage how to live without water. Without water, never.
But Pushilin still managed to promote himself.
Heavy equipment.
The problem is with the leadership of the DPR, Pushilin. He has led the DPR for more than 6 years. During this time, few good things have happened in the Republic. Mariupol is now being rebuilt with federal budget funds and help from the regions. But overall, Pushilin was not able to ensure even the availability of water. I wouldn't be surprised if the issue of his replacement is raised soon, said a source in the Kremlin's political bloc.
The water supply crisis in Donbass has reached such a level that Putin summoned the leader of the quasi-republic on short notice. They expressed deep concern, but obviously there still won't be any water.
Honestly, I'll tell you, this very difficult issue was not seriously addressed. For us, apparently, the issue is about ensuring supply. The issue became acute for us after the enemy cut off the water.
Pushilin found someone to blame for what happened. Supposedly, Ukraine is to blame for everything, not Russia, which has turned an entire region into a humanitarian disaster zone. Pushilin could lose his head over this. Or rather, the position he has been desperately trying to hold on to for the past 3 years.
People want to tear Pushilin apart in the city's central square, and all that pain that has built up over the years needs to be channeled somewhere. And they'll tear him apart like in that movie Perfume. Only the smells will be very different, obviously, because there are still wild people there, unwashed.
Most likely, a change in Donbass won't happen any earlier than next year. After all, someone will have to take the blame for everything the separatists have done in Donbass over all these years.
Look at what you're doing. You gave water, but you can't laugh at it. Then how much do I need for it to try to do something? How much do I have to struggle like this just to cook? You can't do anything at all. Nothing is allowed. You can't even do it in a pot. What are you doing? Look at what you're doing. Well,
basically, Donbass turned out to be just another scheme to siphon off funds from the Russian defense budget. Timur Ivanov, the former deputy minister of defense of Russia, was responsible for its construction. Now he's behind bars. The same fate awaits Ina Pushilin.
Judging by how Pushilin visited Vladimir Putin, things are starting to look bad. Things are looking bad for Pushilin. Apparently, he's going to end up in prison. The Minister of Housing and Communal Services of Russia. He was taken to the city where Alexander Zakharchenko, Pushilin's predecessor, met his end. Maybe that's how it will be. Well, just look at his face. He's lost weight like 3 times over. In other words, he already understands everything. He understands that this is like the mafia. If you don't manage to get out in time, you're done for.
If the water situation doesn't improve, Pushilin could end up in prison as early as this year. But the more likely scenario is that he'll be replaced next year.
It could happen tomorrow, or it could be in a month. Or perhaps all the significant blame for the severely disrupted heating season will ultimately fall squarely on the shoulders of Pushilin. Because, basically, replacing him now would mean putting any successor in a position where there's no heating season in the occupied territory of Donetsk region.
The Donetsk leader will most likely be replaced by a Russian official who will be closer to the Kremlin and will share in helping to plunder Donbass.
Because Pushilin allowed such a degree of freedom that people can even go out to small protests. Who went out? It was the homeless residents of Mariupol who went out. These videos are all over the world. Market vendors from Donetsk, Horlivka, Makivka, and so on also came out. People in Yanakiv came out too because there's been no water for weeks. And for Putin, well, he already sees this, he's aware, but he can't allow anyone to protest there. Pushilin allowed this to happen. That means Pushilin should be dismissed. His job is to shut everyone up so they don't bother the Tsar. Thinking that I'm restoring Donbass and protecting Russian-speaking residents.
Putin has already made it clear to Pushilin that shady local figures should not be involved in the allocation of budget funding. After all, the Kremlin can't make ends meet with the new military budget.
Everyone except Pushilin there, well, is with her. That is, even if they fire the head of Donbas Water, the so-called prime minister of the DNR, or someone else, it won't change anything. People need a public scapegoat.
However, the real hostages of the situation are ordinary people. Local residents living under occupation with the so-called Russian world. They continue to survive not only without water, but also without civilization.
What should the next strike deep into Russia be? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button under the video, and stay up to date with the main news. We already have almost 450,000 subscribers. There's more to come. See you soon.